Anytime you can't hear me, feel free to interrupt me, okay? I won't be offended. I would rather that you interrupt me because I'm doing this because I really think I can give some value to you guys, okay? So does everybody know why we're here? We're here for networking, basically Networking 101. So this is going to be a three-part series on networking, and this is the first part. I'm kind of stalling a little bit of time because but if at any time you can't hear me, feel free to interrupt me, okay? I won't be offended. I would rather that you interrupt me because I'm doing this because I really think I can give some value to you guys, okay? So does everybody know why we're here? We're here for networking, basically Networking 101. So this is going to be a three-part series on networking, and this is the first part. I'm kind of stalling a little bit of time because we still have some people that are supposed to show up. This will be the first part. This is going to cover event networking. The next one is going to cover group networking. Group networking is really where you're going to build your business. This first one is going to teach you how to build your network. The last one is going to teach you a little bit about controlling and managing your database. So you've got all these contacts. What do you do with them? And I urge you all to show up for all three of them if you can make it. And tell other folks about it, because the more people that we have networking and doing it right gives us more business opportunity, all of us, right? So a little bit about myself. My name is Steve Husky. I work for T-Mobile USA, and I'll start off with a stat. So the Accelerate Institute of Sales in Austin, Texas, says that an effective, efficient salesperson will get 40 to 60% of their business from referrals. 40 to 60% of their business. Now, if you just moved into the market and it's your first year in the industry, you're probably not going to get 40 to 60% of your business from networking. That's unrealistic. But after 3 to 4 years, if you're not getting that, you're missing a big portion of the business. Now, why is networking valuable? Well, let me back up for a second. Who here gets 50% of their business from networking? By show of hands, anybody? You get 50% of your business from referrals and networking? Okay, so some of you do. That's very good. That's very good. The rest of us in here who don't, if you need to get a job, if you need to expand your business, if you want to meet your wife, fellas, whatever you need to do, you can do through networking if you do it properly. So let me back up here. I want to find out who I'm speaking to, first off, the audience. So I'm going to need you all to get very interactive with me, and I need you all to talk to me. You're going to be partnering up. Does anybody have a problem with that? By show of hands, anybody have a problem being interactive? Excellent. Okay, good. If you take one or two things away from this seminar, that will be really good. You're not going to remember all of the 45 minutes of this. It's just not realistic, right? And it's not practical. Take one or two things away from this and one or two things away from the next one and so forth, and you'll get something out of this. So I'm going to, if I speak to your person now, I need you to stand up, okay? Who here wears a sales hat or wants to go into sales? If you are in sales or you wear a sales hat, stand up. Okay, I like this. And stay standing. I like this. So what this says to me, people who are not standing, is these people like to make more money than their boss. They like more time off than their boss. You know, I can agree with that. I'm okay with that. So stay standing. Thank you very much. Who here, stay standing, please. Thank you. Who here, that's okay. Who's an entrepreneur? Any entrepreneurs? Anywhere wear an entrepreneur hat? Okay, yeah, you guys, so you know. As an entrepreneur, you're not only selling your business and you're selling an idea, all that sort of stuff. Who here is the boss or just wants to be the boss? Yeah, you want to be the boss? Very good. Stand up. Who doesn't want to be the boss? That's right. Well, the interesting thing that you share with these folks is that you will have the toughest sales process of all. These folks might have a 6-month to a year-long sales process. Am I right? 6 months to a year? I mean, if it's a huge sale. My sale is about 30 days. You're going to have a 2 to 3 year, very performance-driven, very consultative sale with people who might have a better education than you. Your boss is going to have to like you, and if your results aren't there, someone with more experience is going to get the promotion. So you're also in sales. Now, you guys who didn't stand up, what do you do?
Physical therapy clinic. I manage a physical therapy clinic.
Okay. So is managing your physical therapy clinic, you are selling. You are selling your idea to the people that, yes, I'm doing this properly. You're selling to whoever the clients come in. So stand up. You're in sales. What do you do? Same thing? How about you, Leonard? What do you do? Okay, excellent. So you are indirectly also selling. If you go up to somebody and drop their bookcase and go, sorry, dude, that's probably not going to reflect bad or very good upon you, and so you might get fired. So you are selling yourself every day as to why your employer should keep employing you, okay? So please stand. How about you guys? What are you guys doing?
I'm a human resource trainer.
Oh, trainer. You're, of course, in sales. And yourself?
I work at Jerry Job Corps. I'm a work-based learning specialist.
Okay, so of course, any type of learning, any type of training, you are in sales. You have to sell these people on why do they want to know this. So thank you very much. You guys can sit down. That was very good. The point I wanted to make is that if you are in business, you are in sales, bar none. I have yet to meet someone who's in business that isn't selling themselves, an idea, a product, a service. We'll talk about the promotion thing a little bit later, and I'll show you a formula for quantifying how you can get that promotion. So it's not just, ooh, am I doing the right thing? There's actually a 40-40-20 formula. If I forget that, remind me afterwards, okay? So we are all in sales, and it's important to note that no matter what we're selling, we can get from networking. And what is a networking event exactly? Well, a networking event is a place that you may go with a common business interest, a place that you may go with a common, recreational interest. For example, a garden club or a sushi club. Those probably are not business organizations, right? But you can still get relationships, quality vendor relationships from those events. Same thing with a business event. With a business event, obviously you can get quality vendor relationships. Typically, it's going to be in a room very similar to this, with a group of people similar to this. This is actually a great sized group to network in. If it's too big, it's too daunting, and you can't meet everyone. In a group this size, you can meet just about everybody. So whenever you go to an event, it will look something similar to this, maybe in a bar, maybe in a restaurant. Sometimes they're happy hours, some breakfasts, okay? Is there anybody here who has never been to a networking event? Show of hands. You've never been? Never been? Okay. Well, hopefully this will give you a broad overview as to what networking is. Why do you want to network? Can anybody answer that question for me? Why do you want to network? Yes, it's very good. Another reason is to expand your network. The reason that I started networking, was to expand my network. And I'll tell you a story as to someone or some reason that you may want to expand your network. I had a sales manager for a small IT firm in Westlake, Texas. And this particular sales manager wanted to institute Challenge Friday. Now, I'm a competitive guy. I played 2 sports in college. One sport wasn't good enough for me, rugby and football. I love competition. So the challenge was right up my alley. Here's the problem. If I challenge someone, here's what it would look like. Hi, Elva. I'm going to challenge you this week. I'm going to sell 2 widgets. And if Elva lost, now this was a reward, keep in mind, this was a reward. If Elva lost, I got to hit her in the face. Yeah, now, I never did this. I left the company shortly after this was introduced. But Elva was not allowed to turn down this challenge. The interesting thing was, if I doubled Elva's production and sold 4 widgets to her 2, I got to hit her in the face with whipped cream and bologna. Now, this was just completely unacceptable to me, as you can imagine. Those are the type of people that you want to network away from. If you are networking with someone and he tells you a story about Challenge Friday and hitting people in the face with bologna and whipped cream, you need to get out and expand your network, okay? Is everybody with me so far? Do we have any questions so far? Oh man, you guys are too easy. This is really easy. Now, I've got a lot to cover, so you'll have to excuse me, but I've got a small cheat sheet here. We're going to go over a few how-tos. The first how-to, get there early. If you get to a networking event early, you will probably meet the organizers of the event. The organizers of the event are going to know almost everybody who comes to the event, unless it's a 5,000-person massive event. But more importantly, the organizers of the event are going to know the mavens. Does anybody know that word? bonus points if you know what a maven is. M-A-V-E-N, a maven.
Someone that knows all the angles.
Yes, that's one aspect of a maven. So you've all heard of 6 degrees of separation, right? Everybody, yes, nod with me. Y'all got it? 6 degrees of separation, okay. So the 6 degrees of separation study was done by Stanley Milgram back in the 60s. I'll spare you all the gory details. Essentially what it was, there are certain people in our modern society that enjoy being the connection for everybody else. These people are mavens. He termed them mavens. Mavens have, most of us in our business network will have about 150 people if we're a seasoned business professional. That's what Stanley Milgram says. Mavens will typically have 300 to 500 people in their business network. And if you need something, they just know what it is. If you get to the networking event early, the purveyors of this networking group will probably know who the mavens are. So that is rule number 1. Rule number 2, smile. Nobody likes to talk to a grouch. Smile at these networking events. You're selling right now, and you're interviewing people to be your vendor, to be your business partner. So put on a good face, put on a smile. If you are, and I have seen this, if you're standing in a corner looking at your cell phone with a frown on your face and a furrowed brow, you're probably going to reap what you sow, which is nothing. No one's going to come up and talk to you. Nobody wants to come up and talk to you. Am I right? So just smile whenever you go to these events. The next thing is your name tag. We have name tags on, so this is kind of a good way to do it. Here's what I do, and this is my technique. You don't have to use this. I put my name tag on my right shoulder. I don't put it here, I don't put it here, I don't put it here. I put it on my right shoulder high so that when I'm shaking someone's hand, it's right in your face. That's right. And if your name tag's in their face, how many times you meet someone and you go, ooh, he just said his name 2 seconds ago. What was his name? Well, this is a good way. You've got your name paired twice. That's just a little technique that I use. I find that it works. Business cards. If you didn't bring business cards to a networking function, if you're a student, do we have any students in here? Any? No, okay. Students a little bit different, but if you didn't bring business cards to a networking event, then you're going to have some problems. I don't know why this is. I've networked a lot. You guys are smiling. Did you not bring business cards to the event? That's okay. Everybody, she forgot hers, but she's not shady, okay? She's okay. She's one of us. A lot of times, if you don't bring business cards to the event, people will sort of shy off as if you're just trying to get their information for something. And I don't know why that is. I'm guilty of it too. If someone, oh, I don't have a card, let me give you, and I just kind of shady. So in the future, make sure that you bring business cards to all of your events. You're going to want to brand yourself. I know a guy, his name is Paul Morgan. Some of you in here may know Paul Morgan. He is perfect with the branding himself. He brands himself as Tall Paul. The guy's about 6'4", and he is loud and boisterous. Hey, Tall Paul Morgan, I am here. Paul Morgan's in the house. And he'll enter a room like that. And whether or not you've had a conversation with Paul Morgan, you know who Paul Morgan is, and you don't forget him. So brand yourself however you want. My form of branding is my name, not Steve James Husky, just my first name, Steve with T-Mobile. Hey, I'm Steve with T-Mobile. Hey, I'm Steve with T-Mobile. And every person I meet, I'm Steve with T-Mobile. And let me tell you how I found this out. There was a gentleman that I met who to this day I cannot remember who it was, but for some reason it was really good for me to contact that person. And I happened to wash his business card. And I could remember his first name, but I could not remember the company he worked for. Now when I meet people, almost always they'll go, Steve from T-Mobile, right? I've branded myself as Steve from T-Mobile, and people tend to remember it. So brand yourself however you choose. That is my form of branding. That's what I find works for me. Speaking to anyone, this is huge. My 4 biggest, you guys who said you get a lot of business from your referrals, you'll probably be able to attest to this as well. My 4 biggest referral sources, my 4 biggest vendors, they don't come from my industry. One of them comes from a slightly kind of in an off-way related industry. One's a florist. A florist? Are you kidding me? I started talking to a florist at a networking function. She gets networking, and so it worked. She understands giving and receiving referrals. So talk to anybody. The other one I talked to was a staffing agency. How is a staffing agency going to have a lead for a cell phone company? I don't know, but she does, and I have leads for her too. So this works for us. So don't limit yourself to, I've got to talk to somebody in, for example, moving. I've got to talk to a commercial realtor. I've got to talk to an insurance person. Branch out and make sure that you hit anybody who's in there. You're not selling to the person. You're selling to who they know, okay? Does everybody understand that? Do we have any questions thus far? Excellent. We're going to do one more exercise before we get into a little bit deeper about conversations. So I need everyone to participate with me. There's 2 rules. First off, your finger has to be pointed up at the ceiling. Thank you. Point your finger up at the ceiling. Put it above your head, please. And your finger must be spinning at all times. Now look up at your finger. You want to spin it in a clockwise motion. 12, 1, 2, 3. Spin it clockwise. Big circles. Nice big circles. Come on, really spin it. Trust me, you'll see where I'm going with this. Okay? Clockwise circles. Now, keep pointing it at the ceiling. Don't point your finger anywhere else. Bring it down slowly. Bring it down below your chin. Bring it down below your chin. Now, which way is your finger spinning? Is it? It's counterclockwise, isn't it? What changed? Can anybody in here tell me what changed? What'd you say? You're exactly right. Perspective, I will have also accepted point of view. Just kidding. But your perspective changed. So, if your perspective is different than what someone is speaking to, you're going to miss that person completely. For example, man, I tell you what, I've got the best counterclockwise circles. They are efficient, friction-free. They're constantly round, same diameter every time. I don't need clockwise circles. I need counterclockwise circles. That doesn't help me at all. You may have counterclockwise circles, but you tried to sell them clockwise circles and you missed them altogether. And at these networking functions, you've only got 5 minutes. So you need to consider your audience. You need to consider their perspective. This comes into talking with people. When you go to these networking events, you've already branded yourself, hey, I'm Steve with T-Mobile. You're also going to need a few differentiating things. You know what differentiates you from someone else. You know what differentiates you from your competitors. You need to be able to talk to that person's point of view. If you don't talk to their point of view, you will miss them. Does everybody understand that? I saw a few light bulbs go on when that happened. That's good. Make sure that you differentiate yourself from your competitors, and make sure you differentiate it in a perspective that's relevant to your audience. Now, how to talk to somebody. Connie Ulmer is excellent at talking to people at a networking event. I urge all of you to talk to her after the event, because she will talk your face off. Now, the way to talk to someone at an event, if you have problems, and some of us do have problems, how do I talk I don't know how to talk to this person. He's not in my industry, what do I say? There's a simple acronym you can use for that, and it's called FORM, F-O-R-M. Now, I'm going to tell you the textbook version of it, and then I'm going to run through each step and how I change it a little bit. FORM, family, occupation, and don't worry if I'm going too fast for you. We'll go through this. Family, occupation, recreation, and money. That's how they say it in the textbook. Now, family. Everybody likes to talk about themselves, right? Who doesn't like to talk about themselves? Hey, you got any kids? Oh, man, let me show you my kids. I got great kids. Who, what, where, when, how about your family? Easy. That's a 2-minute conversation right there for each person. And then occupation. What do you do? What brings you here? How long have you been there? How'd you get that? Oh, do you like what you do? Really? What's great about that? Occupation. Who, what, where, when, how. That's easy. Now here, the R's, I have 2 different R's. If you came with somebody, like I noticed you ladies walked in the room together, okay? So the R's are recreation. Everybody likes to talk about what they do for fun, right? Well, I mean, who doesn't like to talk about what they do for fun? It's their fun. The other thing I might talk about, if there's 2 people that walked in, the R can mean relationships. Now, relationships are touchy. You don't want to say anything where someone might say, oh, he just died. So typically I stay away from the relationship portion of it. However, these two ladies walked in. Sorry, I lived up north for a while, so everybody's a guy to me. These 2 ladies walked in. And so I may say something like, what brings you guys here, and how do you know each other? A little relationship, just to kind of keep the conversation going. The M, money. Man, I tell you, I've got a lot of people in my family that have a hard time talking about money. Do we all know someone who has a hard time talking about money? I know tons of people like that. So I don't talk about money ever. I'll talk about something very market specific. For example, if the person is a florist, just to kind of throw that out there, I'll ask her about movies or music. She is probably more art brain driven, and so I will talk about music and movies, which isn't to say she doesn't have money or doesn't know money, but that's probably, judging by her occupation, something I can relate to her with. In this part of the world, you can always talk about South by Southwest and Austin City Limits, right? Have you seen any good, who hasn't seen any good live music in this city in the last year? So music and movies are two. The other one, if it's someone who is in finance, maybe an attorney, a banker, I'll ask them about the market because they know about the market. They're studying them. They read the Wall Street Journal every day. So market is how my M goes. Market, movies, music. Now, we're about to shift into another exercise. This exercise in body language. Before we do this, I want to stop us. Is there any questions before we move forward? Okay, very good. Excellent. You guys are a great group. Either you know this or you're just too embarrassed to ask questions. Either way is okay. So let's, I need you to partner up. Can you two guys are single. Would you mind partnering up? I need everyone to partner up, and you don't have to stand up yet, but you will be standing. So make sure that you have a little bit of room to stand up. The people on this side of the room are going to be partner A, okay? So with your partner, whoever your partner is, the partner on this side is partner A. Does everybody understand that? Partner on this side of the room is going to be partner B, okay? Everybody understand that? This side's partner B? Okay, good. So what we're going to do when we stand is a little exercise on the energy that is conveyed between two people when they are talking and how your body language can help or hinder that energy, okay? Now, go ahead and stand up for me. Thank you. Okay, partner A, you are going to be in a very bad mood, and I want you to portray the bad mood. Your body language is going to be very closed off. Your brow is going to be furrowed. You're going to be facing, when we start, you're going to be facing your partner, and you are extremely closed off. You know why? I want you to take 5 seconds and think about who is the most important person in your life. Spouse, kids, priest, who is it? That person just insulted them. Without talking to them or without touching them, I want you to show them with your body language how you feel. And face them, parallel, okay, face your partner, and show them. You need to have a very closed off posture right now. I'm probably not even looking at this person. That's right, that's right. Okay, so you see what PO'd body language looks like. Thank you, partner A. You guys are very good. You pulled that off to a T, man. Okay, so partner B, here's what we're going to do. You just met a long-lost friend. You're in a conversation with them. You haven't seen this person in probably 5 years. So think of someone from your past, 5 years ago, that you just met. Now, you've gotten past all the hugs and oh, good to see you. You're in the middle of a conversation with them. Show this person how happy you are without touching them or talking to them, just for 5 seconds. Go ahead, face them and do it. Move it down. Not too loud. Okay, thank you, partner B. That was very good. You had very open posture. All of you had very open posture. You were all smiling. Sorry about that. That was very good. Now, could you all feel the palpable difference in the energy in the conversation with the open body language versus this? You didn't even have to say anything, but you can feel it. It is literally palpable. So now, last exercise, and this is just for fun. I don't know how this one's going to turn out, but it'll be fun. Face each other again, and I want each of you to do your respective parts one more time at the same time, okay? So one person's extremely happy, one person just looks like he wants to kill you. Very good. No, that's good, that's good, that's open. You're smiling, that's good. That's very good. Now, let me ask you, and I want some feedback on this. Did you feel a difference when you were both doing it at the same time? Could you feel a difference? Yeah?
It's like a string to be happy against somebody that's like,
Body language is 3/4 of a conversation. You can look at somebody without even talking to them and tell them if they don't even want to talk to you. Why are you coming over here? I don't want to talk to you. I don't even have to say it. So that's just a little example. You guys can sit down. That was good. Thank you. Thanks, Eric. If you are talking to someone and they give you a closed-off posture, the first thing I would do, well, first off, if they give you a closed-off posture like this, I would just leave the conversation because you're not going anywhere. But if they're giving you a somewhat closed-off posture, like that's, yeah, very good. He's good. Yeah, he's been closed off all day. If they're giving you a somewhat closed-off posture, I would mimic the posture. And it is surprising within a couple of minutes, just mimicking their body posture, it is really surprising how many people will open up. And if you see someone with an open body posture, open their body posture. And this works for sales as well as networking. Guys, here's a little sales tip 101. I close about 85% of business, and I close it because I read people's body language. When you get into a sale, if you mimic their body language, you will close more of those sales, okay? That's just my little tip. So, body language, differentiators, form, we've covered all that. This is how to talk to people at a networking event. Now we're going to talk about my favorite thing, some things not to do. Here are some big things that they're called nasty networkers. I didn't make up the term, I just go with it. Nasty networkers do, okay? Rule number 1, please write this down. If you get 1 or 2 things from this meeting, and this is the one thing I want you to get from this meeting, please do not ever, never, 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 ever, never sell the person you're talking to. Don't ever sell the person you're talking to. I didn't come to this networking event today. I mean, let's go without saying that I'm not speaking. I didn't come to this networking event today going, man, I hope there's someone there that sells insurance. I can't wait to buy that. And I'm just using you as an example. I'm not picking on you. I can't wait to buy insurance today. I hope there's someone at this networking event who sells it. Nobody came here to buy anything. Did anybody come here to buy anything? Nobody came here to buy anything. People came here to expand their network and make some business connections. Don't sell the person across from you. Sell who they know. And here are some quantitative figures to help you figure this out. You may want to write this down, you may not. I'm going to go through some numbers. Let's just, for the sake of argument, nice round numbers, each one of us knows 25 people. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. There's 15 people in this room. Each one of us knows 25 people, okay? That's really not that many. I guarantee you've got more than 25 contacts in your cell phone. But nice round numbers. Of these 25 relationships you may have with business partners, with vendors, with personal relationships, if you go into a networking event and try and sell, let's say for the sake of argument that I try and sell you, and I don't sell you, and now you're turned off because I'm a sleazy salesperson. And I try and sell you, and it didn't work, and you're turned off. And I try and sell you, and it didn't work, and you're turned. You know what? You're looking for wireless today. You just didn't know it. And so for whatever reason, you're buying what I'm selling. And I try and sell you, and I try and sell you. There's 6 people here I tried to sell. 6 times 25, it's 150, right? Am I right on that? So 6 times 25, 150. Here's what I've just done. I've alienated 5 people. These 5 people will see me at a networking event and never speak to me again. They will never take me seriously again. And if they happen to show up with somebody like she did, that person's going to know who I am. They're going to see me coming. You are trying to sell who they know. I made 1 sale out of this meeting. That's great. So be it. I may do that once a month. But once a month, I'm going to alienate 5 people and make 1 sale. That's not a very good ratio. However, if I made 2 connections at these networking events, and at these networking events, if you make 1 to 2 connections, that's been a good event. 2 connections at a networking event is fantastic. Let's say that we made a connection, not a sale,